How do you create that normal morning routine where you just start your day off right? You have everything set up and you're good to go rather than sleeping in and living with a bunch of regret for several hours. Well, that's what we're talking about in today's episode. So strap in, get ready for episode 139. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. I know that you have a lot of different choices when it comes to the podcast realm, so I appreciate you choosing this one. And for all my return listeners, welcome back. We are in store for another great episode today. But before we dive into that, if you've not been over to our YouTube channel, please go check that out. For the month of June, I am launching a top 3 exercises for all muscle groups, and each week I'm going to be releasing one. So I think we start off with chest, my top 3 favorite chest exercise, and I'm going to be breaking down my top 3 favorite from all muscle groups for the entire month of June. So definitely go over to youtube.com/bones to bulk and check that out. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So how do you create that perfect morning routine? Because as you know, starting your day off right has so much effect on the way the rest of your day is going to pan out. And maybe you have never worked out first thing in the morning. Maybe you work out in the afternoon or work out in the evening. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But if you're strapped for time, if things are tough for you, then let me tell you, working out in the morning is so much more beneficial because it's just going to free up so much more time later. Plus, it's a great way to start your day off. So if you've been struggling, if maybe you sleep in and you just can't get up when that alarm clock goes off, I'm going to walk you through some simple things you can do right now to get on track with waking up and getting your morning started right. Number 1, it all starts the night before. You know, sleep is so important to our mental health, our physical health, so many different things. And if you're weightlifting, it's crucial for healing your muscles and for regrowth and all the important things that have to take place in order to regenerate those torn muscle fibers that you're tearing down in the gym. So it's super important that we set up a good nighttime routine in order to have a good morning routine. Now, here are some surefire ways to do that. Number 1, about an hour before you hit the sack, turn off all screens. Computer, cell phone, tablet, TV, am I forgetting any? Like all your screens, turn them off. Because the blue light from screens can do so much to keep our minds active and awake and prevent us from falling asleep once it is time. Number 2 thing, do some relaxing things leading up to bed. So in that hour when you've turned things off, maybe it's having a calm conversation with someone. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's having a hot cup of tea or whatever your hot beverage is of choice. Obviously, you don't want to have coffee because that's going to have the adverse effect of helping you fall asleep. And get comfy and light a candle. Like, I don't know, whatever your thing is, everybody has something different. Just do something that gets you settled down at night. That's not related to a screen, because that's going to be so much more beneficial for helping you fall asleep. Well, yes, you shouldn't have screens in front of you. There are a lot of apps that you can use to help you fall asleep. They're like sleep aid apps. You don't have to look at the phone or anything like that. You just turn it on, set it by your bed, and listen to what it tells you to do. And they are helpful in helping you fall asleep because it can help direct your thought to where you're not just wandering in your mind and thinking about all the things tomorrow, but it focuses your attention on a particular subject, and then it helps you fall asleep. So you've got to have the nighttime routine down to a pat. Now, some other things that you want to do the night before if you're getting up early. Number 1, set out your workout clothes. If you're going first thing, guess what? Having everything set up as much as possible is going to help you get up in the morning. Trust me. So set out your workout clothes, have your protein shake ready to go. Maybe you have a pre-workout snack, like have that all set up. So literally when you wake up in the morning, all you have to do is roll out of bed, put on your clothes, and walk out the door. Like, that's it. You need to have it as simple as possible because every little thing you have to do in the morning is one more excuse of why your brain's going to tell you need to stay in bed. So focus on those things. Now, number 2, set your phone across the room. I know, this is a tough one. It shouldn't be because it's actually healthier for our bodies and our brains to not have the cell phone right next to our head when we sleep because of what it emits. There's a lot of research behind this. All right, so set your phone across the room and set your alarm. That way you have to physically get out of bed in order to turn it off, because once you're out of bed, you're more apt to stay out of bed than just reaching over and turning it off without getting out of bed. So have your phone set across the room. Have your phone set wherever your workout clothes are. Keep it all like in a little pile over in your room, because when you get up to go turn the alarm off, you're going to see the workout clothes. It's going to help motivate you to get your butt out the door into the gym. All right, so those are some surefire ways to help out. Now, once you are awake, it can be difficult to maybe feel like working out because you're half asleep, you don't feel like going, but you're up. And you're like, well, screw it. I'm up now. I'll put in a half-ass workout and get it done. Well, that's not really the attitude to have. Have a pre-workout on hand. Pre-workouts are great for morning workouts. I take one and it helps me a lot. I take it before I leave the house. That way, by the time I get to the gym, I'm ready to go. Typically, not always. And that's the thing to remember. Like, you're not always going to be pumped, but get to the gym, get inside the gym, put your earbuds in, turn your music on, and I guarantee you by the time you get to that point, you're going to start, because you're like, well, I'm here now, I have to work out. And you're going to be so glad you did afterwards. Some other things to implement that will help you with your mental health, just kind of staying on track with your physical, because they play hand in hand, is meditation is really helpful. If you've never done it, there's a lot of great like apps that you can do guided meditation to that are really helpful. Simple Habit is a great one that I've used before. It's free. Well, they have a free and a paid version, but the free version has plenty for you to use. And it just kind of it's like a 5 minute to 10 minute thing, and it walks you through, and you kind of, it just brings that self-awareness back around to where it needs to be. Also, another thing that I've really gotten into lately that I found very beneficial is yoga. It just helps get my mind right. It's kind of like meditation meets stretching, which is always good if you're working out. And I've noticed that it has greatly enhanced my lifts. So these are some things that you can also implement, whether it's in your morning routine, your nightly routine, or just kind of random times during the day. It all benefits you and helps you to sleep better, to get up earlier, because it's all about that whole being, that mental and physical lining up. Another thing that's great to do right when you wake up is go directly and drink 8 to 12 ounces of water. It will kind of gear you up. It gets you lubricated in a sense. It gets you ready to go. It'll help wake you up. So grab some water, chug it really quick, drink your pre-workout, get out the door, and get to the gym. Let's face it, it's always hard getting up early. It truly is. But the more you do it, the easier it does become. Not necessarily to get out of bed, because there will still be mornings, even after you've been doing it a while, that it is really hard to get up. However, when you wake up and there's that initial, I should just hit the snooze, there's this feeling inside you that says, you know what? Yes, I could stay in bed. Yes, I could sleep a little bit longer. But if I do, I know I'm going to regret it later. I know I probably won't get to the gym, or I know my day is just going to drag a little bit more because I didn't get my workout in first. And so it's really important to build that habit, because that's where your brain will immediately go. It'll focus more on the negative when you wake up about skipping the gym rather than the positive of skipping and staying in bed. So it's important to build those healthy habits. And again, it takes time. You're going to screw up. You're going to sleep in some mornings. That's okay. Get over it. Get back on the horse the next day. All right, I hope I've convinced you to set up a good nighttime routine and morning routine in this episode. Please check us out on social media. We are pretty much everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. We are at Bones to Bulk everywhere, and I would love to connect with you. There's so many different ways to do so, and a new way to do so is through texting. That's right, you can now text me at 706-222-7551. Just text the word podcast to that number, and it comes directly to me, and I would be more than happy to talk with you about any questions you have. I send out some fitness tips twice a week, and it's just a great place to connect. So check that out for sure. With that being said, remember, no matter what walls you're facing, what things you have to overcome, how much you want to stay in bed, you can hit your goals. You've got this.